Welcome back, guys. Check out our latest purchase for the farm. Right off, you probably noticed the car battery strapped down to the luggage rack. Yeah, that's my battery for now. So it had a battery in it when we bought it, but it didn't have any water left in it, and it was cooked. So I'm not sure what was going on with that, but I got this hooked up, and it does turn over now. But one of the reasons I put the battery on there is I was trying to pull start it because I couldn't get the starter to turn over. So in figuring all that out, I pulled the seat off and I pulled the air box out, and I found that I didn't have a voltage regulator hooked up. There was nothing. This is the voltage regulator connector. The voltage regulator actually bolts to the side of the air cleaner box, which was in here, but there was no voltage regulator, so nor was the battery any good. So think about it. I was pulling on the starter. There's no voltage regulator. The alternator is putting out voltage. I was assuming it was. But in the grand scheme of things, with all that happening, the capacitive discharge ignition, the CDI, was not getting any voltage to send spark to the spark plug. So I could never get it started by pull starting it. So I said, well, I got tired of pull starting it. Let me hook up a battery and try to push button start it. And it still wouldn't turn over. It was just clicking this is the starter solenoid right here. This right here. So it gets voltage from the push button start, engages that, and sends voltage down to the starter. Well, that still wasn't working. So I said, well, let me just try to pull on it. I pulled on it maybe twice and it started right up. So I had a little light bulb come on. Maybe it's because I actually had a battery hooked up and had voltage going to the CDI. That's why it started. So I proved my theory by, here, we can start it up. Oh, I turned the gas off. Dagnabbit. Well, I'm not going to do that. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. You can leave it rolling, squeak. So, that's with everything running. Without a voltage regulator in here, you can see the battery is actually what's keeping the four-wheeler running. So, I'm not sure why whoever owned this before us decided to take the voltage regulator out. It could be bad. It could have been putting out too much voltage. Could have been putting out no voltage. It could have been because a mouse chewed through the wiring harness and I had to splice all this stuff back in here. Not sure. But we're on the hunt for a new voltage regulator. But you can see my little rig here. I didn't have another motorcycle battery, so I just used this piece of wood and some screws and just, put these little wires. I know they're not big enough to run it all the time. I understand that. And these little clamps aren't the best, but you can see it does start the four-wheeler, and it's a temporary kind of thing while I'm troubleshooting everything. Hey guys, today we're going to be working on the regulator rectifier for the Bayou 220. So this is a continuation in the Bayou 220 series. We bought this and it did not have the bracket or the regulator rectifier from the people we got it from. I'm not sure why they took it off, but I got a new one and we're going to put it on here. But I don't have the bracket. I could have bought the bracket, but I figured, well, I could just bolt it in there with drilling some holes in there. So I'm just gonna drill through here, put the little bolts in there. It won't interfere with the air filter that's gonna go down in here, which we're gonna do that too. But for now, let's drill a hole through here. Let's see if we can. It's just plastic, so it shouldn't take a whole lot to get through there. So yeah, that looks good. And I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe drilling holes in here will mess up making it waterproof or whatever. But it still has these little vent things. Maybe they're supposed to keep the water out. I don't know. But we don't go snorkeling with it anyways, so we'll see. What I'll do is just poke these through like that. And I drilled it nice and tight so the shoulder of the bolt would kind of make it a little bit waterproof. And let's get these started on here. These nuts are actually the captive nuts, so they have the what do you call it? They're lock nuts to keep them from backing out. So I figured that would be better than washers and regular nuts because it'll keep them from going. So anyways, we're going to tighten that down, and we've got some taping to fix on the regulator wiring harness, and then we're going to get it all plugged in, drop this down into the brackets that it goes into, and might go ahead and start it up and try it out and make sure that the charging system works, and I'll show you how to check that on these. We'll check the alternator output or stator or alternator output, and then we'll check to make sure the voltage is rectified with this, and to make sure that it's actually charging too. So alright, let me get this tightened down, and we're going to get it installed into the four-wheeler, and we'll see in just a minute. Alright guys, we got the regulator tightened down. Just drop the bolts through there, easy peasy. I've got the wiring harness here. For whatever reason, a squirrel, mouse, dog, cat, something chewed on the harness and cut these wires and these two here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just tape up. You can see these are kind of chafed a little bit. They don't look compromised except for just a few little strands, so I'm just going to throw some tape on them to help them, just kind of keep them from shorting out or getting any worse. So I'm just going to use this rag here to wipe off the excess dirt, grime, and everything. And then I've got some Scotch Super 33 tape. This is really good electrical tape. I've used it for many years. It holds well in many conditions, is fairly temperature independent, so it doesn't slough off when it gets too hot, and it doesn't get too hard when it gets too cold. So it's a very good product. So, and they come in this neat little plastic case if you buy it like that, which I really like the plastic case because it keeps it from getting smashed up or wet or squished. So we'll get these taped up and get this box mounted in there. Alright guys, we got the four-wheeler running. Hopefully you can hear me okay over the four-wheeler, but it does need to be running to check this. Get your multimeter here. I use a 177 Fluke. Love it, had it forever. It's a really nice meter. Put it in volts AC, or the one with the volts with the squiggly line, and that's how you check the alternator. The alternator is a generator, and it puts out AC voltages, so it alternates plus and minus. So we're gonna kind of set this here for you so you can see. Maybe we'll set it right here. I can read it upside down. So we're gonna probe these yellow wires, our output. So there's a high and a low voltage. So let's just probe to the outside of here. So we've got 24 volts. Goes up to 50 volts when you increase the idle throttle. So that's good. That's what you want. And it cut off. So let's see if we can get it going again. Might have to actually pull on it here. Let's see. Alright. So that was the two outside ones. Now let's probe the inside and outside one. and that's working. That goes up to 50 volts. So pretty much I'm very happy with how the alternator is working. So it's putting out voltage, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward with plugging it in and trying it out. Let's see here. I've got it in volts DC now. That's the V with the straight line, or VDC, or whatever your meter says. So we're going to check the output right here. We're at 14.52, 14.4, 14.33. Looks like we're good. We're going to check for ripple voltage, and ripple voltage is an alternating current, so an AC voltage on a DC circuit. So we're going to flip it over here to the volts AC. That's why I don't like meters that have the setting that says AC or DC and it auto figures it out. Well, we don't want that. I want to be able to read AC on a DC circuit. So let's put the meter back on here, right onto the battery. So that's 15 millivolts. Okay, 20 millivolts, that's nothing. AC voltage on a DC circuit is not good. So we're gonna go ahead and bolt this in here and get moving forward with everything else. Well, I got the airbox in there, and this little band here tightened up. It was kind of a bear, but I got it. Hopefully doesn't feel like it's on there very well, but that's the best I could do with it. Well, I guess it is on there very well. But anyways, these are little 10 millimeter bolts. The 10 millimeter bolts hold the airbox down to the frame. So pretty much tighten them down, and put your air filter back in and call it good. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helps somebody how to troubleshoot your charging system. So like, subscribe, comment. I'm open to any comments you might have, or questions you might have about this. I might be able to help you, I might not, but I'll do my best. See you next time.